I'm going to walk through 5 changeup grips today to maximize seam effects. The first 4 are going to be a 2-seam orientation changeup, and the last one is going to be a 1-seam orientation. Just so you know what you're looking at, this dot just provides a better visual for you when you're playing catch or when you're throwing a bullpen. So you'll just use a Gatorade cap or something similar to draw an outline on this part of the baseball, and then when you're holding it, you're going to want that dot to be on the inside. So for me being left-handed, it's going to be on the right. If you're right-handed, it will be on the left. When I throw this pitch as a lefty, I want that dot to be positioned in the top right corner, facing me slightly. If it starts facing me too much, then it's gonna start to turn into a gyro slider, which isn't gonna get the movement that we want. As a right-hander, I want that dot to be positioned on the top left-hand corner, slightly facing me as it's spinning away from me. I should be able to see a clean dot spinning perfectly. It shouldn't be wobbly, or it shouldn't be so far on top of the ball to where I'm not seeing it at all. So that's just a general guidelines to look for with this pitch. If you have TrackMan or Rapsodo, that's obviously gonna give you more specific spin measurements so you know what you're looking at, but this is a really good tool for guys that don't have tech, or if you wanna use this in catch play. The first grip we're gonna go over is just a traditional 2-seam changeup. So you're gonna be right on top of the seams like this with both fingers on top of the seams. Put the pinky wherever it's comfortable, whether it's on the side or underneath, and then play with the, with the circle with the index finger, bigger or smaller, to see what yields the better spin that we're looking for. The next grip, we're just gonna go slightly down. Same exact thing, we're gonna assume be a little bit further behind the seams. So I'm more on the inside of the seams on this, so I'm not splitting my fingers to where I'm still on top of them like this. It's more of just gently being on the inside part of the seams. And for me specifically, this allows it to slip out a little bit better. So this might be a good option for you if the traditional 2-seam isn't working. The next one is gonna be just further down, all the way down here. So now we're at the bottom of this horseshoe here. Same thing, same amount of finger pressure, playing around with where the pinky is and where that circle is to see what yields the better results for you. The fourth variation of the 2-seam is Kevin Gausman's grip. So this is more of a split change. You're gonna have these 3 fingers together on the outside of this seam here, and then play with the circle here. So depending on your finger size, that'll determine how big the circle is with your index finger. For me, I just go somewhere in this range here, and that allows that ball to slip out for me like this to get the spin that I'm looking for. The last changeup variation is a 1-seam grip. You'll notice that the dots are positioned in a slightly different location. I'll be sure to attach a video on how to draw the circles for both of these changeups, depending on the one you decide to use. It's the same idea as far as the way it's spinning. We want to make sure if we're left-handed that the dot is spinning in the top right-hand corner, and if we're right-handed, we want to make sure it's spinning in the top left corner. As far as the grip goes, we're going to do a 1-seam variation. So instead of being on top of the seams like this for a 2-seam, you're going to go down 1 seam. Start by splitting the seam like this with your fingers like so. Have your pinky and index finger at a comfortable position like the 2-seam, whether it's on the side or all the way down. You can also play with the finger placement with your ring finger and your middle finger. Some guys like to have the ring finger on top of the seam. Other people like to have the middle finger on top of the seam. So figure out which one is comfortable for you. We're just looking for that 1-seam spin that allows the dot to be spinning in the top right-hand corner if you're left-handed, top left corner if you're right-handed. All 5 of these grips have the potential to work and to allow you to get the seam effects and the late movement that you're looking for on your changeup. The 2-seam variations are typically going to be for guys that stay supinated a little bit longer through the ball and have lower spin efficiency. The 1-seam variation allows you to get seam effects without having to stay supinated and allows you to even get a little bit of pronation and throw it at a higher spin efficiency. Figure out what is best for you based off of your other pitch types. For example, how your 4-seam fastball spins. If you tend to cut your 4-seam a little bit, you might be more of a candidate for the 2-seam changeup variation. And if you tend to have more carry or more true backspin on your 4-seam, you could be a candidate for the 1-seam variation. A few notable pitchers that use seam effects through the 2-seam or 1-seam variation are Kevin Gausman, Logan Webb, and Alex Young. All 3 of these guys are able to get later movement due to the way that the ball is spinning out of their hand.